So we're going to look at, since we already took a look at the S&P, we're going to look at the NASDAQ. What happened this week, and we're going to be starting on Monday, and we'll be starting from the 5-minute time frame because I already showed everything else in the S&P on higher time frames, and they're relatively they move in tandem. So on Monday, opening price was right there at 19,040. So there was this shoulder swing. We were below opening price, and this was the draw on buy side liquidity. This was the draw on sell side. So at exactly 8:30, where the trend for buy side liquidity, this was the first swing low, right? Let me just annotate that. I hope this video won't be long. Expect the first swing low to be taken out. And this was the buy side. So after this swing low was taken, I would have preferred, and also this first swing low, that was the minor draw. Don't trade before 9:30, so we're obviously waiting for 9:30. Right there. So 9:30 creates this swing high. You're aiming for this buy side. We trade back into. There is this small imbalance, if you can see it, between 1900 and. Well, that's a small one. I wouldn't have taken that trade. It's not convincing. Maybe in lower time frames. So I think there was probably a setup right here when this swing high was broken in lower time frames because I annotated that. So that would have been the trade. If you want me to make another video, or maybe in the 3 minutes, so that would have been your first partial. Your stop loss would be where ICT teaches the candle that forms the fair value gap or the swing low below it. Well, after this buy side, you would have targeted there was this imbalance that was left on Friday. This gap. You see that gap? You would have targeted that for continuation all the way to 12. Let's say the 50% level of it. If you're brave enough, you can let it run all the way till noon, and you would have got 100 pips. I didn't take that trade though. So going into lunch is 1:30. There was this stop hunt that took out people who had trailed their stop loss going up, and people breakout traders who went in were traded against, aiming for what? These relative equal highs. There was a stop hunt at 3, after which nothing much happened. So I don't really see an afternoon trade. Didn't, that is. Going into Tuesday at 8:30, this is the buy side liquidity. Let me just annotate that. And this is the sell side liquidity. There was a stop hunt that took out sell side. Now what are we aiming for? Buy side. So this swing high was breaken, and buy side liquidity was taken. And we traded into there at 12 now. Obviously, we don't trade during noon, so we'd have to wait till 1:30. And just by the time 1:30 hits, there's this swing high broken. A fair value gap has been formed. This swing has been broken, and also this top hunt of this buy side liquidity. People who have entered or breakout traders, buy stops in the form of buy stops, fair value gap traded into, but no obvious target unless you are aiming for this liquidity right here. But that is way back on Friday, but it would have still been a valid target because remember the bias is bullish and we don't trade against the bias. So if you took that trade, your risk would have had to be below the candle that forms the gap, so 22 pips. And there's also this trade right here. You see that? Let me just delete this. There's this smaller trade right here. Fairly got traded into as a continuation at 2, and then let it run all the way till 4. 94 pips, risk 20. It was Tuesday. Then you have Wednesday, the news. You see how big a variant it is. Let me show you the measurement. The news was 182 pips. It's crazy. And don't trade the morning session after high impact news. Wait for the afternoon. So afternoon starts at, I might technically like to start at 1:30. So this was the drum buy side. There was a stop hunt. Next, aiming for sell side. Sell side was taken, and with no clear objective and no gap, no imbalance, there was no trade. And at exactly 5, the holiday, the bank holiday, and a gap was created. Now remember, we're expecting that gap to be rebalanced. So going into Thursday, 8:30, opening price. That was the opening price, 98.98. So at 8:30, we were just at opening price. News took out buy side. What the next draw will be what? Sell side. So aiming for the sell side. That's the stop hunt. Stop hunt. And it really went for the sell side without giving you a setup. So that's just a day you didn't have a setup, and left these lows and all the way till noon. We traded we traded into the gap at 11:40. I guess you could have taken that trade as a scalp, with your risk being the candle that forms this. If you were afraid of getting stopped out, ICT teaches you should put it at the low, at the this candle. That's too and your target will be this well, you would have gotten out at 12, but it still went to a target. In fact, went to rebalance half of this gap. So that was this trading during the morning. During the afternoon, nothing much happened. Just an upward continuation, probably aiming for this buy side and this buy side. And we closed at 4. Let's see if there's a setup. I think I was watching this. Don't see a fair value gap that was traded into, unless you count this one. Was there a swing high broken? No, so no trade. Swing high broken, yes, but the gap, I guess, was traded into at 4:15. If you're aiming for this would have been the long position. Remember, I make these videos to watch for myself, so as backtesting, because I don't have all the charts, all the data from, I can't go back all the way, so I make these videos for myself and come and watch in pro time. Okay, 8:30, same thing. We're obviously below opening price. Should a swing, the bias is still bullish. Sell side liquidity annotated, buy side liquidity annotated. News, so sell side liquidity wasn't even tapped in, just took out the buy side. And there's a lot of gaps you would have been aiming for, a lot of imbalances. This one was traded into, it was this, but it's already been traded into. So the main draw would have been this. But that seems like a pretty high target, especially for the NASDAQ. Almost about to hit 20,000. I think in fact we did hit 20,000. So this swing high was broken. Completely rebalance. This here, and this gap. Traded into, look at how it respects that candle. And then this would have been a small scalp for scalpers. Obviously, ICT teaches a scalping mechanism. see how if your risk was there, you wouldn't even have gotten taken out, and you'd have targeted this liquidity as a scalp. But if you were holding long positioned, you would have probably gotten stopped out right here, unless of course you placed your stop loss at the last high of that move and held till 12, of which you'd have almost got the same thing, but you wouldn't have gotten stopped out. Honestly, that's you won't get a perfect trade every day. That's just how it is. And after all, you see your bias continues all the way till noon. So if you held this trade for noon, of which you should never hold, this is just an example, you'd have got 65 pips, 1-to-1 ratio. But don't pull out the trade as soon as 12 hits, because it can reverse in your direction and take you out. And then during noon, we had this choppy back and forth consolidation and the buy side liquidity. Let me just annotate that real quick. Buy side was taken just at the close, and that was it for last week. So going into this week, I want to do one for the dollar index, but everything seems to be bearish for the dollar index. We've already hit new targets. The dollar index is collapsing. Wait. Was not collapsing, but the Dow, which is the US dollar, has been completely bearish, which is inverse to the S&P and NASDAQ. So the next target will be this, and this. Considering this swing, this high was respected. I think we called it the long-term high, the intermediate term high, the long-term low, the intermediate term low. It has a low to the side of it and a low to the side of it, and it's still being respected. So if this breaks, we'll be aiming for lower targets. This is the Dow Jones, but in the NASDAQ, I think I expect a continuation upwards, and I'm not going against the bias. Yeah, that was the analysis for last week. Looking forward to this new week, and have a great trading week.